Qualifying for Sunday's Grand Prix done, and we've got a couple of standout performances in that session, didn't we? Let's jump straight to it. Q1, Zhou Guanyu starting in last place. Not too much of a surprise there. The Sauber's been horrible here, hasn't it? Nothing really changed from the sprint race to now. Logan Sargent, 19th place. He splits the two Saubers. 18th place for Bottas. 17th for Lance Stroll. It was a horrible session for him. And Alex Albon, P16. I think that was probably the best for Williams really here this weekend. And a shocker for Lance Stroll to go out in Q1. He'll be really, really disappointed with that. Star of that session though, Kevin Magnussen, P5. A really, really good qualifying session in Q1 for him. The leaders there though, Carlos Sainz was P1 and he pulled off a really good lap, and he thought, oh, could Ferrari have found something and be right in the mix? Well, it wasn't to be, was it, in the end? Oscar Piastri in second and Max Verstappen in third, and it was about a tenth or less than a tenth in it, so it looked like at that stage we win for a really tight session. Jump to Q2, Fernando Alonso 15th. It's Aston Martin's going backwards, and really backwards, isn't it? It's been a horrible car. They again struggling like last year, didn't they? Really not bringing any upgrades that seem to work on this car. And are they having correlations issues similar to what we've seen at Mercedes? Who knows? Yuki Tsunoda 14th again. Not a great session for him. He's been beaten by his teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who actually had a decent session overall considering where that team's been. Pierre Gasly 13th place. Horrible session for him actually, considering he's been beaten by his teammate, and in sprint qualifying they were in the top 10, the pair of the Alpine, so he'll be really disappointed with that. Kevin Magnussen 12th and 11th for Daniel Ricciardo, and I've got to say that was a really good result from him, because that car hasn't been great, has it? He wouldn't have a great sprint qualifying either, but to pull it together, he's in 11th and gives himself a chance to fight for some points tomorrow, doesn't he? Nico Hülkenberg, a brilliant lap, fantastic qualifier, isn't he? Got up to P9 after a disappointing sprint penalty that he's got, and he's got 2 penalty points for that also. Ocon in 10th was a really good result as well. The bad performance, like I said, in that one was Pierre Gasly. Verstappen led the way there. Carlos Sainz half a second down, and Max just went off on a really thrown down the gauntlet, did he? And just said, look, catch me if you can. And he just looked phenomenal from Q2, did Max Verstappen. And George Russell lined up third, and the Mercedes in his hands looked strong. Into Q3 then, and where it all mattered, and Max Verstappen absolutely pulled off a lap. He was comfortably half a second faster. In the end, Lando Norris got closest, 4/10 off him in second place. And then came George Russell half a second down. It should have been his teammate, Norris's teammate, Oscar Piastri in third. A really disappointing session for him in the end. He's dropped down to 7th for track limits, and it would have been two McLarens against the Red Bull, and they could have played the strategy game, so that how costly could that prove for McLaren tomorrow? Who knows, because Oscar really hasn't been on the pace of Norris, but they could have potentially used him tomorrow, but that's not going to be a problem for Max there. Now, 4th place, Carlos Sainz. I think that's a really good lap from that Ferrari. He's beaten his teammate again. Lewis Hamilton in 5th place. Charles Leclerc in 6th. He binned it on his main lap in the end, didn't he? I think he had track limits around turn 6 anyway, and then the turn before last he was way off. Lucky didn't cause a yellow flag for anyone in behind who would have lost times. Oscar Piastri lines up 7th, like I said, 7th because he's had that track limit time deleted. He'd be really disappointed with that. I think he'd be kicking himself. Another poor session for Sergio Perez, lines up in P8, one place worse than the sprint. A lot of scratching around in his head, and questions of where his pace has gone, and even more, and I keep saying this, why have they given him this contract so early? And his poor form, like we seen last year after Miami, it just continues again, and it's like 3rd or 4th race now, so yeah, big questions on his side of the garage. Nick Hülkenberg 9th place, decent lap from him, and then Ocon in 10th, a top 10 for the Alpine, and we should hopefully have a bit of a race tomorrow. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, it should be close. I think Norris needs to make sure he doesn't get jumped by Russell, and if that happens, then I think it will literally be a straight fight between Norris and Verstappen, and strategy could come into play here. We might see a two-stopper. But yeah, there we are, set for the race tomorrow. Just let's hope the race is a lot more interesting than the sprint race we got earlier today. But thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always, and watch out for the race review tomorrow. See you then.